Donald Trump rushed away from reporters as he was being asked some basic questions on the White House lawn. Trump rushing away from the White House. He's doing a dinner tonight with the Saudis regarding the Live Golf tournament that's going to be at his Virginia Golf Club over this weekend. More of Donald Trump going to golf courses on the taxpayer dime. But I want to talk about what went down before Donald Trump rushed out of the White House. It seems like he had yet another secret phone call with Putin, where Putin was demanding or asking Donald Trump to make sure that there would be a ceasefire in Moscow between Russia and Ukraine so that Putin can throw his Victory Day parade without worrying that Ukrainian drones would strike inside Moscow. For the past week, Zelensky has been saying that Putin wants this unilateral ceasefire without reciprocating to Ukraine. And Ukraine said earlier in the week that it may be open to a ceasefire if Putin would actually speak with Zelensky about it or speak with the Ukrainians about it and agree to a ceasefire so there would stop being Russian attacks on civilians in Ukraine, which continued to kill civilians this past week. And Zelensky knew that Putin really wanted this parade, this Victory Day parade tomorrow more than anything. So Putin could act all big and strong. So there was a secret phone call apparently between Putin and Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump calling Zelensky, it's being reported or alleged, it's what we're hearing, and potentially Donald Trump begging Zelensky, can you please give Putin this 3-day ceasefire so he can have his parade? And Zelensky actually agreed to do it, but then Zelensky did an epic troll of how pathetic that made Donald Trump and Putin look. I'll show you what Zelensky did in a moment, but how we learned about all of this is that Russian presidential aide Yuri Yushakov announced through the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, this is what they posted. They go, we find Donald Trump's initiative concerning a Russia-Ukraine ceasefire on May 9th to 11th acceptable in order to conduct a 1,000 for 1,000 prisoner of war exchange. Such an initiative on the eve of Victory Day is welcome. And then so it was like, wait a minute. So did Donald Trump just speak with Putin? What the heck just happened? We knew previously in this week, this is why our reporting here on the MeidasTouch network, where we talk about things that aren't being reported, we get ahead of these stories, the spin and the propaganda. Remember when we previously reported earlier this week when Zelensky posted the following message? The Russians want Ukraine's permission to hold their parade so they can safely take to the square for an hour once a year and then go back to killing our people and waging war. The Russians are already talking about strikes after May 9th, a strange and certainly twisted logic from the Russian leadership. There are also messages from some states close to Russia that their representatives intend to be in Moscow. An odd desire at a time like this. We do not recommend it. Remember my reporting from earlier this morning where I said, I think that's a reference to the United States right there. There were other Zelensky posts like that. So then before Donald Trump rushed out of the White House, he then posts the following message. I am pleased to announce that there will be a 3-day ceasefire, May 9th, 10th, and 11th, in the war between Russia and Ukraine. The celebration in Russia is for Victory Day, but likewise in Ukraine, because they were also a big part and factor of World War II. Pause there. Ukraine's not doing a Victory Day parade like the way Russia does it, so it's already a false statement. This ceasefire will include a suspension of all kinetic activity and also a prison swap of 1,000 prisoners from each country. This request was made directly by me, and I very much appreciate its agreement by Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. Hopefully, it is the beginning of the end of a very long, deadly, and hard-fought war. Talks are continuing on ending this major conflict. So Donald Trump, who got the call, it seems, from Putin, tried to present it as though this was my idea, although we've been reporting what's really been going on behind the scenes now for a number of days. As Philip O'Brien writes, the ceasefire story is fascinating. Turns out that Trump seems to have pleaded with Zelensky on Putin's behalf. The Ukrainians said they agreed on the condition that prisoners are returned and the ceasefire covers only the parade area and doesn't extend outside of the parade area. So then Zelensky posted on the Ukraine social media account the following: decree of the president of Ukraine on holding a parade in the city of Moscow, taking into account numerous requests and for humanitarian purposes outlined during negotiations with the American side on May 8th, 2026, I hereby decree the following: to permit the holding of a parade in the city of Moscow, Russian Federation on May 9th, 2026, for the duration of the parade from 10 a.m. Kyiv time on May 9th, 2026, the designated area of Red Square shall be excluded from the operational plan for the use of Ukrainian weapons. Red Square coordinates, they list the coordinates you can see right here on this box. Those coordinates too. This decree shall enter into force on the day of its signing. Signed, President of Ukraine, Zelensky. As this other account says, amazing! Trump spent years bragging he'd end the war in 24 hours. So now he's proudly announcing a temporary ceasefire so Putin can safely hold a parade. Now he's doing that, not peace, not victory, just political theater wrapped in desperation. And somehow he still expects applause. Then you have Katerina Lusanova writes, I thought it couldn't get any more humiliating for the Kremlin than this, but they somehow now reached a whole new level of embarrassment. The Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs just published a quote from Putin's aide, Yushakov. By the way, Yushakov is buds with Witkoff and Kushner. They've been meeting all those times with Dmitriev, right? They did those meetings in Miami. Of course you found it acceptable, Lusanova writes. You were calling him nonstop, begging him to do something to save your parade. And we all know it wasn't even Trump's initiative. He couldn't care less about your parade while dealing with his own issues involving Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. It's literally the same script we saw with the 28-point peace plan, which was also labeled an American initiative. In other words, it was packaged by Putin, and America said, here was our plan. And that's what this, what Lusanova is alleging right now, that basically Putin gave his plan. Hey, Donald, you got to give this plan. Have Zelensky do our plan. Trump just packaged Russia's plan and said, this is my plan. Will you agree to it, Zelensky? Zelensky responds, I'm only going to agree in this small area, Red Square, that's it. And we want 1,000 prisoners exchanged. And so Zelensky got what he wanted, as Donald Trump called Zelensky begging, apparently, for Putin to have his parade. Now, Zelensky wants a sustainable, durable ceasefire. And Zelensky earlier this week on May 5th said when this was an issue, because remember, this didn't come out of nowhere. We've been reporting on it for a long time on the MeidasTouch network, right? Zelensky says, okay, Putin, you want a May 9th to 11th ceasefire. Give us a May 6th, 7th, 8th. Prove to us that you're willing to do a more sustainable ceasefire. Putin's response was to then bomb Zaporizhzhia and other areas of Ukraine, killing a ton of Ukrainian civilians. So Donald Trump back on the White House lawn. Let's get to this part right here, where Trump is asked, so was it Putin that asked you, Donald? Like, it seems like Putin asked you to do this. Donald Trump's like, no, it was my idea. Okay, Donald, here, play this clip.
Was it Putin that asked for the ceasefire?
No, I asked, and President Putin agreed. President Zelensky agreed, both readily. And we have a little period of time where they're not going to be killing people. That's very good. And they also agreed to give 1,000 on each side, 1,000 prisoners back. So they're going to be transferring almost immediately 1,000 prisoners from each side. That's very good. Russia, Ukraine.
You plan to talk to them again to try to
get this? I will. I'd like to see a big extension.
Okay. Then Donald Trump, a reporter says, so we're almost 10 weeks since the United States missile hit Manab Elementary School and killed close to 200 little girls. A war crime. Who fired the missile, Donald? We know the answer. It was the U.S. It was a U.S. Tomahawk. Our military members, our military leadership has admitted it, but Donald Trump won't. He continues to lie. But what else do you expect from actual criminals, actual felons, actual predators? and war criminals. Here, play this clip.
We're at a point almost 10 weeks after a missile hit a girls' school in Iran. Who fired that missile?
So that's under study right now, and we'll give you a report as soon as we have it.
Next up, Donald Trump says, but everything with Iran is coming out great. It's moving along pretty well. Play this clip.
No, I have no reaction to that. No, not at all. I think we're doing very well. Iran is seeming to be coming along very well. Militarily, very good. We'll see whether or not they can get there. Steve, go ahead.
On the hantavirus, Donald Trump's like, we hope it's okay. That's Donald Trump's response. We hope it's okay. Let's play it.
We have it. We have very good people looking at it. It seems to be okay. They know the virus very well. They've worked with it for a long time. They know it very well. Not easy to pass on. So we hope that's true.
And what about the U.S. removing itself from the World Health Organization? You want to reconsider that, Donald, now that the hantavirus is spreading? No, we hope it's going to be fine. You hope it's going to be fine? Here, play this clip.
Will your team travel to Moscow, Mr. President?
Consider leaving the World Health Organization because of the outbreak of hantavirus.
No, we seem to have things under very good control. They know that virus very well. It's been around a long time. Not easily transferable, unlike COVID. But we'll see. We're studying it very closely. We have very good people studying it very closely.
Then Donald Trump randomly answers a question by a reporter that has nothing to do with this by saying, I love South Korea. Okay, here, play it.
President South Korea, you said that South Korea was attacked by Iran, but Iran denied it. Do you share with
I love South Korea.
Then Donald Trump brags about the Virginia Supreme Court overturning the will of 3 million Virginians who supported a new mid-decade redistrict map, unlike the Republican states where they don't do referendums. And Donald Trump goes, we won big in Virginia. We won big in Iraq. Okay, here, play it.
Had somebody that I very strongly endorse. He won by a lot, and I wasn't happy with the person who was there previously. So it was a great victory. We had a lot of great victories. We had a big victory today in Virginia, as you know, and we have a lot of victories, but the victory in Iraq was really great.
Then Donald Trump walked away like you saw at the beginning of the video. Let's show it to you. And I think it's important over here to remind you of this clip. Ken Klippenstein found it. So Barack Ravid, who's basically, in my opinion, been Trump's stenographer, regurgitating all of Donald Trump's stuff, which I believe then manipulates the market. Now, Ravid says, I'm not doing that. Okay, Ravid. But there was a moment where Zelensky, a while back, knew exactly. This is February 15th of 2025. Remember, February 15, 2025, Zelensky knew exactly what Barack Ravid was up to all the way back in February of 2025. Watch this.
Can you clarify if that's taking place? Yeah, thank you so much. I never saw your face. I always heard about Axios, that you always, after my phone calls with some leaders, you know what's going on. What was during my phone calls? No, I know it. Really. The information. Where you have your information? Where you get this information? Huh?
They works at the NSA.
Yeah, nice.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.